You pull up your vocab sheet, which you should already have saved in Notability from yesterday. You can follow along with Descartes' rule of signs. So what this does is it tells us the maximum number of positive and negative real roots. So we can use this in conjunction with the rational root theorem to try and narrow down the number of options we have when we're trying to factor a polynomial. So to determine the maximum number, again, similar to the rational root theorem, we listed the possible roots. They weren't all of the roots, they were possible. So this is the maximum number of positive roots that it could have. It may have fewer than that. What you do is you count the number of sign changes, meaning from positive to negative or negative to positive, when your function is in standard form. For the maximum number of negative roots, count the number of sign changes for f of negative x when it's in standard form. So let's see how this works, because it always makes much more sense when you apply it than it does when you look at the theoretical words. So maximum number of positive roots, you look at the function as given. So I'm going to write maximum positive. Or actually what I will do is I will end up listing all of the possible number of positive real roots that this function has. So again, we're looking for sign changes. Our first term is positive, and it changes sign to negative for the second term. So there's one sign change. It stays negative. That is not a sign change. And then it changes back to positive. So there's a second sign change. So the maximum number of positive real roots is 2, which means it could have 2 positive roots, it could have 1 positive root, or it might have non-positive real roots. But the most it can have is 2. Easy enough. For the negative roots, what we have to do is evaluate f of negative x first. So we replace all of our x's with a negative and see if it simplifies out, or simplify it to see what we get. When you have negative x cubed, that will stay negative, so it becomes negative 4x cubed. Negative x squared will become positive, and negative 7 times negative x will be positive 7x. So now we count the sign changes on this function to get the maximum number of negative roots. Negative to negative, no sign change. Changes to positive and stays positive. So we could have 1 negative root, or we might have 0 negative real roots. But the most negative roots we could have would be 1. We're going to do something a little bit different than the you tried. What I want you to do is write your questions and summaries. And we're going to spend some time in class focusing on these higher order thinking questions and how to truly summarize what we learned. If you can't put your learning into words, then you need to rewatch the video. You've already taken the notes, so what you need to focus on is listening to my explanation and making sense of it. And some of the higher order thinking questions you could use are on this page. What I want you to avoid are the what questions. That does not get at the deep understanding of the material that I'm looking for.